so many fond memories and funny moments that happened that you'll have to read the book. But I think my favourite one would be on Corfu. But it was the most beautiful place we'd ever seen, with a villa looking out over the sea. And we'd been out for the evening, we'd had a nice meal. Danny and I were sitting on the front veranda looking out over the bay, watching the lights twinkle on the bay. And it was very romantic. We decided that we would go for a swim. So we ditched our clothes on the front veranda and we ran across the veranda and through the villa and down the steps at the back and over the car parking area, up some more steps and jumped into the pool. And it was all very romantic. But the next morning, the owner of the villa, he spent a lot of his time watering the plants in the garden, and he came over, he had his smile playing on his lips, and after a few moments he said to us, did we realise that he had CCTV cameras positioned at the back of the house? And it was very embarrassing, to say the least.
One of my favourites is when we were staying on the Amalfi Coast. And we'd been there a few days and we'd met some different people, and they said about hiring a boat. So we hired a boat and we went out for the day, and we saw lots of different villages, and we ended up going a little bit farther than we were supposed to go. So we turned around and decided it was time to head back, and as we were on the way back, the wind picked up a little bit, which I've got a little bit of experience of boats, so I wasn't too bothered about. But within about 5 minutes, Joe had got all the life jackets out and got the children wearing life jackets. And as we went along a bit further, the wind picked up a little bit more. And as we could see the beach that we needed to land at, Joe had the children, and she was actually lying on top of them to keep them safe in the boat. It really wasn't rough at all, but that was her lack of experience of boats, I think, yeah. So that was, put that one down to experience, yeah, definitely.
Cyprus was the best place we ever went on because of the tourist attractions, such as like pools, beaches, sunny weather, not like we get here, and a lot of people there, attractions, ice cream, long days, and then like really nice nights for like restaurants, beaches, bars.
We were in Paris, and Mum and I went to one of the little portable toilets, and when when my mum was using the bathroom, I was kind of fiddling with the lock on the door, and somehow I managed to open it. And we were kind of in the middle of a very busy town, and just like everyone was focused on Mum, and all I can remember was her just saying, "I've never changed so quickly in my life." So yeah, that was probably my favourite memory.
We're in Rome and that's St. Peter's Basilica.
Well done.
We were going into Rome, and the big hit of the day was the Colosseum. We were going to start at the Colosseum. And Danny and I, as usual, couldn't agree on the route on the metro and where to get off the metro. I quite fancied the stop called Colosseum, but Danny knew of a quicker route, and he was trying to work it out. And whilst he was looking in the guidebook, there was a young Italian lady came and sat on the seat beside Alice and opposite Danny. And Alice was mesmerised, I think, by her beauty. She spent a lot of time studying her. And Danny, I think he too was mesmerised by her beauty. He decided he would ask her for directions to the Colosseum. But the language barrier, again, he couldn't make himself understood very well, and she didn't speak English to be able to reply to him. Next thing we knew, she stood out from the train, grabbed Alice's hand and ran with her off the train. And it took a few moments for Danny and I to realise that actually, she had our daughter and they disappeared. And so Danny shouted after her, and I got the boys and the bag, and Danny went running after them. I was a few yards behind. But in the general melee of the metro system, he couldn't catch up with her. And as they were running, we could hear this wonderful soprano voice and this singing, this operatic voice. And I thought, what on earth is happening? And it turned out it was this young girl, and she was singing. I don't know why she would be singing, but she was singing at the top of her voice, and it was beautiful. And by the time Danny had just about caught up with them, she let go of Alice's hand and just disappeared into the crowd. And when we stopped and drew breath, she had taken us to the right train, and just one stop along would take us to the Colosseum.